Happy Friday, everyone, and happy spring breakout for my fellow prospect sickos. Good morning and welcome to OffBeat, a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf. Spring breakout is going to happen on Friday. We're going to get a look at some of the top prospects in the Pirates uniform, guys from the upper levels of the system to guys that we haven't seen pitch. Like, we have not seen Seth Hernandez pitch in a pro game yet so far. And I know this is just an exhibition during spring, but he did not get that call to Bradenton last year, high school pitcher. They didn't want to shut him down and then get him going again. So, okay, this is going to be a chance to see him in a Pirate uniform. Going to be the first time seeing a lot of these guys in an environment like this. But I really want to single out two pitchers in particular that I'm watching, not just for this game, but for the season in general, because I think they're breakout candidates. And the first is Seth Hernandez. What a shock. I think that the first round pick from last year, who was billed as the top pitching prospect out of high school, maybe ever, I think he's going to have a big year. What a shock. By big year, though, I mean a big year. Because the last two first-round picks the Pirates had before him, home runs. Paul Skeens in 2023, Connor Griffin 2024. I don't think you could do a whole lot better than the reigning Cy Young and the number one prospect in baseball. So big shoes to fill there. I think he has the ability to be one of those guys, though. I got to talk to him a little bit last year after he got drafted, whatever he was getting settled at Pirate City. Seems to have a good approach. I kept asking about the changeup because that was the pitch I heard just in general. Like, hey, this is one of the best pitches we've ever seen come out of high school. You don't see a guy who could throw high 90s, be also able to kill that velo, kill that spin, and get whiffs and called strikes with a changeup. Like, that's a real dangerous weapon. And I heard about that all season. And then this offseason, the conversation started to shift. And then I go down to Bradenton earlier this month, and the conversation is about a different pitch instead. And that's the slider. And how he worked on it and how he's developed it. And I am intrigued. I didn't get to see it in person. I'm intrigued to just see it in general. Because you don't see a lot of teenagers be able to have that pitch mix, have that pitch to feel, have that pitch design development the way that I've heard that he has here. And I don't know if he needed a devastating breaking ball to still be considered, this top prospect. But if he has that on top of a potential plus changeup and a fastball that's in the high 90s, I don't know who hits him. I genuinely don't know if anyone in the Florida Coast League is going to be able to catch up with him. So I would fully expect him to start the year in Bradenton. I don't think he's going to finish the year in Bradenton. I'm not convinced he's going to finish the year in Greensboro either. I think there is a chance that this guy finishes the year in Altoona, like Connor Griffin did last year. Now, I should say that the most likely outcome is probably finishing in either Bradenton or Greensboro. I fully get that. And a lot of this is just going to be he needs reps. He needs innings. You can't advance a teenage pitcher too quickly because part of pitching is learning that, getting punched in the mouth. How do you respond to that? How do you learn? What do you take into a bullpen? What do you take to just learn? Like, there are stories of guys who go to Altoona and it's like, hey, you're going to throw a lot of changeups. You're throwing 40 changeups today. No way around it. It's not going to be great for your results. It's going to be great for you to learn, how do I use this pitch in game situations? There's a lot of that goes on in the minor leagues, and I think Seth will have to eventually have to hit that artificial roadblock. Because just pure stuff wise, I don't know who these 19, 20-year-old kids, these seventh and eighth round draft picks out of college last year, who is going to be catching up to stuff like this? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility he finishes the year in Altoona, or at the very least, Greensboro. Greensboro is a hitter's park that could always create a hiccup. But yeah, he needs the innings. He needs starts. There's no way around it. It's easier for someone like Connor Griffin, who played about 50 games in Bradenton and got promoted, and then played about 50 games in Greensboro and then got promoted. Like, that was easy enough. Like, there, it's like, okay, well, he got 2 months of start there. I guess promote him. Don't really have that same courtesy with a starting pitcher, especially since, I mean, most weeks he's going to just pitch one time. So what do you do with that? How do you build up the innings? How do you manage just the season workload? That's going to be the first time he pitches this many months in a season. I get all those points. Those are all valid points. I'm just saying I heard nothing but good things about the changeup, and then conversation immediately stopped because they all went about the slider. If the slider is 2/3 as good as the changeup, I mean, it's a potential big pitch there. So yeah, big controversial take. I think that Seth Hernandez, the guy who was billed as the top high school pitching prospect maybe ever, is going to have a big year. I'll counter that. My second guy is a little more off the beaten path. I'll talk about him after I throw it to Cody for a minute.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack hydration sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way for you to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. The Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. My personal favorites so far have been the almond butter chip and the iced tea lemonade hydration mix. It's just really full of flavor. I love starting my day with it, and I couldn't imagine starting my day with anything else other than IQ Bar products. Right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
The second pitcher I want to talk about, who is on the spring breakout roster, who also needs reps. He didn't get a lot of reps last year. He battled an injury. He didn't get out of Bradenton. Whenever he was in Bradenton, the ERA was in the 6s. It just wasn't a great year. But Zander Mueth, I'm keeping my eye on him this year. I saw him a little bit in the backfields at Pirate City whenever I went up to Bradenton earlier this month. It wasn't his best outing out there. I mean, it's just a backlog. It is what it is. I thought he might have been flying open a little bit. Okay, whatever. It's a meaningless. It's just reps. It's just practice. It's just getting ready for the year. I get that. But the way people were talking about him down there, it's like, okay, I get it. Because we knew about the mid-90s fastball. But the slider, here I am talking about a different slider from a different prospect, but the slider was being thrown in the zone more all year, all off season, all prep, all spring. It's like, okay, let's see what that does, because that pitch is a potential game changer. I went down to Bradenton in August of last year and I talked to him for a little bit. Story just never pieced together. But he talked about how that slider, getting the movement profile that he wants is achievable and how he was going about doing it. He has this funky arm angle from like a 3/4 slot. It like whenever it gets low, like real low, it almost looks borderline sidearmy. Now he's risen it since then. It's something that he's conscious about. He wants to have it higher, but it's still a unique arm angle. It's something that a lot of hitters don't see, and it makes his slider, a gyro slider, look like it moves a lot more than it actually does, just because it's coming from that different attack angle. And whenever you have a pitch that looks like it's moving a whole lot more than it's actually moving, that makes it a lot easier to throw it in the zone for a strike. And that's all I heard down there is like he's actually throwing these pitches in the zone now. Now he's a second round pick at the end of a competitive balance pick in 2023. So there is upside there. Pirates thought highly enough to invest one of their highest draft picks in him that year. So there's potential. And whenever you have a mid-90 slider, a changeup that has some level of feel to it. Like he's also 20 years old, I believe. Yeah, 20 years old. He's not going to have. That's why I raved a little bit about Seth Hernandez' changeup. Like, oh my God, it's this good already whenever he's young. It's usually a pitch that comes with time and development. I think it could for him as well, but just as it stands right now, you got a fastball that could potentially be plus. The slider, I think, could be potentially plus. And if he can throw them in the zone and minimize the walks and just attack hitters, that's all he really needs to do, in my opinion. He just needs to always stay on the attack. He has the stuff that he can be attack first, and that's cool. That's what the Pirates need. It's what they've also been developing a lot in the pitching system. Like we talked, Zander and I in August, and he was telling me about how Vic Black, who guru down in Bradenton, who does a lot of the movement and profile stuff, what he learned about the way he moved, the way that he should go about it. And it was a brief conversation, but it's one of those things that's like, there's not a lot of 19, 20-year-olds who are this aware, that are that on board with what they should be doing. He is. I think that's going to translate. Whenever you have the mentality, whenever you have the stuff, whenever you're able to throw in the zone more, those are the things I look for whenever I kind of come up with my sleeper prospects, especially on pitching. Like every once in a while, I can be just blown away with stuff. Like whenever I see like an Antoine Kelly or someone, like that's great. But I want to see, can you throw strikes? What is your mentality of how you're attacking with these pitches? Mueth does that. So I didn't catch him on the best day on the backfield. So what? I heard nothing but great things whenever I was on those backfields about him. And I think there is some excitement there because we've heard so much about this pitching, team that the Pirates have been able to develop. And you're like, okay, is it just the guys who are in the upper levels? No, I think it is a product of the whole system, what they're able to do, what they're able to identify with these guys, what they're able to work on with them, the tools and resources that they have. I think that is a better indicator of what they're doing in pitching development. And Mueth is one of those guys I think is really going to benefit. Just having these resources, having these tools. What can he do? He's on the spring breakout roster. I would like to see him get into the game. I would like to see what his inning or two looks like and just how he compares to some of the other top young pitchers in this farm system. Because I know he's dropped down a lot of prospect charts. It's what happens whenever you miss a lot of a year with injury. He's got to get his innings. He's got to get his starts. But I think he's going to be rising at some point in 2026. Thank you so much for listening to OffBeat. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us or subscribe or what's it on YouTube? You ring the bell. That's what the kids are doing now. You can do that here too. Thank you so much for listening to Offbeat here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf. Have a fun weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.